Welcome to this week's show. This week all about Nietzsche. That's right, Nietzsche. Not nature, but Nietzsche, the German philosopher. Also on the show this week we had myself wearing this unusual hat from the north of Thailand and a sketch of this weird chap here just to frighten you. So Nietzsche, well, who on earth was Nietzsche? What an unusual name. Nietzsche was born in Germany in 1844 to a couple who, the father anyway, was a Lutheran pastor. I don't know what the wife did. So he's a Lutheran pastor, so Nietzsche thought, right, I'm going to follow in Dad's footsteps, and so he studied theology. And he also studied philology, because it also ended in O-G-Y, I think. So that he did that, and then he moved to Leipzig and started studying the philosophers Kant and Schopenhauer, and also he used to listen, and he was quite intensely interested in the musicals of Richard Wagner. Well, he was always very sick. He was born with myopia, and he got even sicker probably when he caught, quite possibly, VD in Munich in his student days. He became a professor at 24, and in the very short space of only 10 years he was basically kicked out because his colleagues were sick to death of him. Supposedly his IQ was far higher than his practical intelligence, so we say, it would seem. Anyway, he said, blow it all, I'm going to go and live in the Swiss Alps, which is one way of meeting life's challenges, I guess. Eventually he went mad. I think that was at the time where he decided he was going to completely rewrite the whole moralistic kind of basis for humanity, the whole morals that we're supposed to follow or something like that. He went mad because it was just too much of a task, I think. He embraced a horse in Turin and he danced naked. He thought of shooting the Kaiser, and he thought he was Jesus and Buddha, the king of Piedmont, and Alexander the Great, and Napoleon. Hopefully not all at once, but he was looked after by his sister, and his mother only died at the age of 56, so he had a fairly tragic life. Well, what did he believe? I want to talk this week just about one specific aspect of his philosophy, and that was concerning struggle and suffering. Basically, he believed that any great achievements in life were born out of hard work and struggle. So greatness came from overcoming difficulties, and difficulties were normal. We can't master the ingredients of happiness immediately, so therefore we suffer. It's not enough to just suffer, of course. It is to meet one's challenges in a noble way, I guess, to respond well to suffering, is what he was getting at. So don't just be an idiot and suffer. Suffer with dignity and with cleverness, I guess. That's what he was trying to say. So, all lives have failures, and it's the manner that they're met that counts. I guess that's what he was trying to say. Anyway, so what he's saying is that you need to take a dark situation and try and work it out so you come out stronger. So if you have envy and bitterness, perhaps you can turn around and into competitiveness. If you have anxiety, perhaps you can get to the core root of your problem and you will know peace of mind. Something like that anyway. I think he's got a very good point, actually. I think that it's an unavoidable thing in life to suffer and difficulties, and I think take them on and learn from them and come out the other end. What doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. How's that? I didn't make it up anyway. But it sounds good. I think he did. Anyway, carrying on, he has a bit of an opinion about the church, growing up in the church as he did. he wasn't overly keen on it, to be honest. He thought the Old Testament was a bit of a created a lot of problems in a sense that, well, he said Christianity in itself dulls pain, dulls energy to overcome pain. The Old Testament, right, supposedly, according to him, makes one feel better by suggesting there are problems where there are not problems at all. So, for example, the old adage, it's easier for a rich man to pass into heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle or something. Well, according to him, that's kind of a way of opting out of overcoming your poverty and becoming wealthy, you see. So it's like that. What he's suggesting is accept your difficulties in life and overcome them and come out the other side even stronger, rather than perhaps what he's suggesting anyway is just kind of opting out and saying, well, the meek shall inherit the earth anyway, so what's the point in trying? So that's what he's suggesting anyway. Don't attack me, I'm not him. Anyway, not everything that makes us suffer is bad, and not everything that's good is necessarily good for us. He says there's a lot of people that are addicted to comfortables, and he suggests that there are small mean people hiding in forests like shy deer. So he's a fairly gutsy sort of character. He liked climbing up in the Alps a lot in Switzerland and so on. It's almost verging on masochism, I think. But I admire someone who has a bit of guts, you know, to face the difficulties in life with honesty and integrity, and to therefore overcome them. And I think it's the only way to overcome them is to have some real guts and integrity, I guess, to admit that you have a problem in the first place. So he regarded extreme examples of suffering to be abolished as a supreme example of idiocy, and he even suggested that, because he went to Naples himself, in order to have a fantastic life, to get a great lot of happiness from life, you should build your house on the side of Mount Vesuvius, because it would be so precarious. Well, I don't know if that's particularly good advice. I think it's going to the extreme of it. But I do admire him for his approach, in the sense of accepting your lot in life, however not resigning to it, and rather making something of it and coming out the other side much stronger. I will just clarify, however, that unlike some people perceive him to be some sort of role model for the Nazis, well, in actual fact, he was a very anti-nationalist. He was very against nationalism, and it was his silly sister that, after he died, she twisted and edited his works because she was a nationalist herself. And I think in all his philosophy is very much humanitarian. It's for human compassion and for strength of character. Anyway, there you go. That's this week's show. Rather serious, perhaps, except for my hat and the frighteningness, if there's such a word, of this thing here. Well, it's not even Halloween. I thought it was. Anyway, there you go. That's this week's show. Next week, another philosopher, actually, I think. And, yes, thanks for rating and subscribing and all your comments. I appreciate it all. And cheers, and I'll see you next week, eh?